Hey Toku Faithful, and here the Ranger Recap is at RangerStop 3 in Orlando, and my guest at this time is a legend. He is a B-Fighter, he's Dante from Devil May Cry, and actually let's take a look at B-Fighter Cavuto, because this man is in it.
Stop!
And he's here to talk with us today, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Ruben Langdon. Ruben?
Jojuko!
How you doing?
I just had to say that. I haven't said that in like 20 years, so.
This is history-making, Toku Faithful, for me anyway. But let's start off. Ruben, how did you get into acting?
Interesting roundabout way, actually. I was living in Japan at the time, and I was doing a lot of modeling and extra work for commercials. They used to hire a lot of foreign faces to be in their commercials and stuff. And I sort of wasn't getting the satisfaction out of just standing there and smiling and, switching the pose every now and then for these catalog shoots and things. And I had a fascination with movies. I loved Jackie Chan movies, and I loved Tokusatsu stuff. I loved, as I was living in Japan, I was watching, I think at the time, not B-Fighter Cavuto, but B-Fighter and some of the animes and everything else that was there in Japan I was in love with. And so I sort of was putting it out there into the universe, I guess intentionally, that I wanted to do more than just modeling. And I was approached by a gentleman. He asked me if I wanted to do more than modeling and wanted to be in Japan what's called a talento, which is more of like a celebrity. In Japan, nobody does really one thing. They sort of do it all. They're an actor, they're a comedian, they're a singer, idols, that all that stuff. So he said, hey, I think, because I was speaking, my Japanese was not super fluent, but for having lived in Japan at that time for just about a year, not even a year, I was speaking pretty good. And I didn't have much of an accent. So he thought I had potential to be a gaijin talento. And he said, well, if you're going to do this, sign with me. I'll be your exclusive agent manager, and I will put you through acting school. So I started training in Japanese formal acting.
Right.
In Japanese. And doing all the exercises, because they do things very differently over there.
Yes.
Sort of mixing their stage play work with TV, and it's a different way of doing things. But I had no formal drama or stage experience before that. In high school growing up, I was the shyest kid ever. I was like, never put me on a stage. I would never do that in a million years. And I would watch people that would do that. I just felt embarrassed for them.
Right.
I would even like, oh my God, they're up there on stage and they're performing. That's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed sitting here watching them. I'm embarrassed for them. So it was just something I was not really into at all. And then when I got to Japan, everything was just different. My whole world was different. My reality was different. And I started doing acting classes, and I was learning. It was really good because I got to learn lines in Japanese, which helped my Japanese ability. So I got to
learn the dialect a little better. Huh?
Yeah, so because I had to put emotion into what I was saying, and so putting the emotion into it helped me remember what the words were and what the meaning was. So it was the best. If anybody wants to learn Japanese, take some Japanese acting classes. Let me tell you, it's the best way to learn Japanese.
That's how I'd like to learn.
And that's what triggered it. And I started in Japan with Japanese acting classes, and then I later the audition for B-Fighter Cavuto came up, and I just so happened to be training martial arts and in Japanese acting class, studying Japanese lines, And even though my Japanese wasn't perfectly fluent, when I went into the audition, they seemed to like me, and I got a call back, and then got the part, and then history was made.
Amazing. It's just, wow, it's better than Rosetta Stone to learn Japanese.
Exactly.
Take acting.
Japanese acting classes.
That's what I want to do. So, how was it playing Mac Windy in B-Fighter Cavuto? I noticed your lines were dubbed over, as you said you didn't have the dialect down.
Well, it actually would. That's not the reason.
Oh, really?
So, the reason why I was dubbed over. So originally they thought that my performance in Japanese, once I transformed into Yama, was not going. I wasn't going to have the oomph that that Yama needed. So they had cast already a voice actor. I think he was I forget his name, but at the time a fairly well-known voice actor in anime and stuff, to do the after Henshin, the after the transformation voiceovers. So because they thought that would just have a little more oomph to push the things. So and I was originally going to do my voice. However, and this is just for the first couple episodes. However, there was some booking issues with a couple agents, and I ended up doing a commercial, and there was some misunderstanding happened somewhere where they told me I wasn't going to do the voice. So I thought in my mind that, well, if I'm not going to do the voice, then I don't need to show up for the voiceover session. Right. Therefore, I'm going to book other work, and I ended up booking another job. And I went to that job. In the middle of that job, I got a call from my agent saying, "Hey, you got to get over to the other thing." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" "No, you told me I didn't. You said they were going to find some." I was devastated too. I was kind of part of me. I was devastated beforehand because when the agency told me it's not going to be your voice, I was like, "What do you mean it's not going to be my voice? That's crazy. How can somebody else not be my? It's my face. Why isn't it my voice?" So it sort of really heartbroke me, and out of rebellion almost, I was like, well, I booked another job, fine, I don't need to do that. And then they called me mid-job, in the middle of the job, and they said, "You got to get over to the studio." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they said, "Well, no, there's a misunderstanding. We thought they had somebody, but they actually want you to do your stuff." And then they explained it to me in real time. And but I couldn't. I was already in the middle of this other job, a commercial. And I said, "There's no way, I can't do it. I'm here." And then they're like, "All right." So I guess what they did on the spot is then they had the voice actor that was supposed to just do the post transformation stuff ended up dubbing all of my stuff.
Oh no!
If you watch in later episodes, I do end up doing my own voice.
Aha! See, I never got that far because no one will. Well, we'll talk about that later. But continue.
So, anyways. For me, and then I pouted, and I took a trip. I remember going on a camping trip, and I was just so devastated. I'm like, how could somebody else be my voice? It just didn't make any sense. Anyways, time is money. They weren't gonna. I said, well, let me go back the next day and redub them, and they're like, no, they have the dubbing session. They have the studio for a certain amount of time.
So too late now. Huh?
Yeah, too late now. So that was sort of how that happened, and then, but luckily later, towards the end of the series, they sort of were like, well, I guess there was a long enough gap where my character didn't show up in the series. There was probably about 5 or 6 episodes that I didn't show up at all, and they said, okay, well, now we'll let you do your voice. So that's the whole voice thing. Long story. Sorry about that.
That's been racking my brain for the longest time, and a lot of fans' brain. Speaking of Tokusatsu. You acted and done stunts in it, but do you still watch Tokusatsu? Do you watch legitimate, or do you know about fan subs?
I don't watch fan subs because
you can speak the language.
and understand Japanese.
I'm sorry.
And that it's awkward to me. But I do from time to time. I check out what's going on lately. I don't follow it as religiously as I used to. I used to. For many years, even after my appearance on B-Fighter, and even after I was involved with Power Rangers, I still watched it because there was some really good stuff. I was a little disturbed lately. I saw some guy turn into a banana, and that sort of disturbed me. I don't know what's happening there, and then I saw some other fruit things that were happening, and this whole Power Ranger thing is going fruity, and it's really sort of upsetting. But that's all I'll say about that.
It would be disturbing for anyone who wasn't friends with Ruben. I feel your pain. So.
Are you feeling a little fruity?
No comment.
Okay.
Let's shift gears to games now. Any video game? Well, you're Dante from Devil May Cry, as we mentioned. So any video game you wanted to work on but haven't gotten a chance to yet?
Huh. Never thought about that. Not really. Yeah, I think I've been very lucky and blessed with my career. I've worked on The Last of Us,
That was good.
Uncharted, those series. I'm working like with the top company, Naughty Dog, and they continue to call me in for stuff. So I, just that alone in itself, and other games that sort of show up and I end up working on. I couldn't think of any other games I'd want to be working on. So no, I'm stoked.
You're good where you are right now, huh?
I mean, obviously, yes, I'd love more opportunities, and this is not telling the world that, hey, I'm good where I'm at, don't hire me anymore. No, hire me, call me, I'm available. But no, everything I've worked on has been just a blessing, and I couldn't think of anything better to be doing.
All right, then. Well, last question. What can we expect from Ruben Langdon down the line?
Down the line, what many people who follow my Facebook and Twitter probably have found out that I am sort of into alternative ways of thinking, sort of high consciousness, metaphysics, paranormal things such as ETs,
Aliens?
extraterrestrials, or aliens, ET, same things. Ghost, angels, all of this sort of otherworldly realm things, unicorns, fairies, gnomes, elves, all of that stuff fascinates me. And the concept that they are sort of not real, they are maybe not of this realm, but there are these other realms that exist. And I've been researching and putting things together, and I have a panel tonight. Hopefully you guys can make it out.
Ooh.
It's called Ruben's Theory of Everything, where I actually sort of take all of this stuff, paranormal, everything, and put it into a nice sort of 2-hour explanation of how the universe works, including all of this wacky, crazy stuff, all the conspiracy stuff, and ETs and all of it. And that's where I'm going with my sort of research and my personal interests, and I'm sort of creating a new career around that.
Cool.
In addition to my video game stuff and the fantasy and the sci-fi and all that stuff I love doing, but there's a whole another realm or realms or a whole world, bunch of worlds out there that there's actually some tangible reality there. We throw it off as nothingness, but there's something there, and that's what I'm investigating, and that's what I'm sort of creating a new career, investigating, reporting, and creating documentary projects and information and videos about this stuff.
It could happen. It could all happen.
Anything is possible.
Exactly. Well, Ruben, I cannot thank you enough for sitting down talking with us.
Thank
You're
you.
awesome, and hopefully we'll have you back on sometime.
Oh, please, anytime.
Yes. Well, until the next review, keep watching for more RangerStop interviews. I'm Easy Rider, reminding you that the fan sub will never die. Later.
Keep it fruity.